I was just looking at some photos that I took on July 18th, and I found some photos of these foundationless frames, or here's one foundationless frame anyway. It's on a medium frame, because I use medium-sized frames for everything, for my brood boxes and everything else, because it's more convenient when one size fits all. It's a lot easier to lift a medium frame. This is a foundationless frame, and right here, this is a starter strip. A starter strip can be a piece of corrugated plastic or a piece of, I think people call it strapping, or some kind of wood, or it can be a piece of normal foundation that's just been cut into a strip, and then you just jam it up into the groove that is underneath the top bar where the plastic foundation is usually snapped into. And you might need to glue it down or nail it down or do something to keep it in place. But once you've got it there, you just put it in the hive between two fully drawn out frames already, and the bees will hang off this starter strip. And this is the reason it's called a starter strip is because it's where the bees start to build comb. And they will hang off the starter strip like this and will build comb where they're hanging. So you'll see sometimes the bees, they just sort of hang in a ladder all attached together, and from that they will build comb. They use their bodies as a guide. And here you can see there's some dark nectar right here. I don't know what that is. Could be anything. You can also see that the fresh wax is white. There is no color to beeswax. It starts off white, and it's everything else that's added to the wax that gives it its color. It's usually pollen and nectar and even the enzymes and everything that the bees add to the nectar to create honey. So it starts off white. Some people would call this natural comb because the bees will make the cells of the comb exactly the size they want it to be, instead of being forced to build comb according to the cell size that's imprinted on the plastic foundation that is usually snapped into the frames. So if the bees need to make honeycomb, they will build cells that are precisely appropriate for storing honey. If they need to make some drones, they will build larger cells, and the queen will lay drones in those larger cells. And if they need to make more worker cells, or the queen needs to lay workers, they will draw out cells that are the size appropriate for workers, which is basically the same size as honey cells. And this over here almost looks like a queen. It looks like a slightly extended abdomen, but I don't think it is. My queens usually they don't have distinctive stripes on them. Their abdomens are usually fairly just one color. This was taken on July 18th. So this frame right now is probably full, but probably not capped yet. Like, it's probably still glistening with nectar that's being evaporated into honey. You can see here. There you go. This is a close-up. There's that again. This is that starter strip that I was talking about. This one is again made from a piece of white foundation that I just cut into a strip. You can see here the bees, they build the comb like this, and then they attach it. And it eventually gets attached, and you can see here the comb is still white. It's so fresh. Here's another foundationless frame. In this case, the starter strip was made from a piece of black corrugated plastic. If you see political signs around your neighborhood during elections, those plastic political signs are corrugated plastic. And it's almost the perfect width to fit inside the notch, or the groove, underneath the top bar. I still put glue in there. I glue them in a bit. Sometimes I nail them in, but it's almost a perfect fit, so that's why I use plastic, corrugated plastic. It doesn't spoil the honey or add unhealthy plastic to the hive. Don't worry about that. The bees are bringing in considerably worse chemicals than anything they're going to get off that little bit of plastic. Just because our environment isn't exactly pristine these days. And if you look here, you can see where the bees are attaching the comb to the edges of the frame. So when this frame is eventually capped, you can uncap that honey and put it through an extractor, and it should be fine. A medium frame can, especially one that's completely attached like this to the sides of the frame, it can handle an extractor most of the time. And here's an excellent example of the bees where they just attach it to the side of the frame. Look at that, right? Not every centimeter of the comb needs to be attached to the frame, but the bees know what needs to be done. And you can see this is glistening, and these bees are sticking their heads down the cells to add enzymes and to make it taste like honey. This is the kind of thing that I like to look at. I don't exactly call this natural beekeeping because I don't think there is such a thing, but it is pretty amazing.